In Paris, thanks so much for joining us on France 24. Well, we'll start first with this news just in from The Hague. They are reading the verdict in the case of 4 members of Hezbollah. They're charged with conspiring to carry out the assassination of former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik Hariri. Now, he and 21 others were killed in a massive truck bomb in 2005. We've just heard that one Hezbollah member has been found guilty in the assassination of the former premier. And to talk a bit more about that verdict, let's bring in Molly Quell, who's in The Hague. Molly, what more can you tell us?
Not the only reasonable conclusion from the evidence.
Yeah, well, they found one member, as you said, of the 4, Salim Ayyash, guilty on all counts. So that's both intentional homicide and conspiracy to commit terrorist acts. The other 3, as you said, they're still reading out the verdict, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be charged, at least not with conspiracy. They've said 2 of them, there's not sufficient evidence to be able to connect them to the crime. What was interesting earlier today is that they did announce that there was no evidence that either the leadership of Hezbollah or the Syrian government have any connection to the 2005 bombing.
Molly, how closely has this case been watched from Lebanon? This happens 15 years after the fact. Why has it taken so long to get to this point?
Well, I mean, I think the wheels of international justice always move a bit slowly. It's a little hard to tell. The son of Rafik Hariri is here today in court, Said Hariri. He's expected to give a statement after the verdict is finalized. Yeah, I mean, I think these things often take a lot of time. I mean, there's been a lot of discussion about complicated telecoms evidence. Most of the evidence that they've used to connect the 4 men or not connect them in some cases has been, sort of circumstantial telecoms data. It just takes a lot of time to kind of connect these things. So, I think it's not surprising that it's taken this long, but I think it's quite disappointing, I think, especially for the victims.
Also, we have to remind everyone that the 4 people on trial are not actually in the courtroom. They're being tried in absentia. What kind of relief could this bring to the families of the victims, particularly in regard to a sentencing?
Yeah, it's extremely rare. It actually hasn't happened since Nuremberg that you've had an international tribunal convict or try people in absentia. I think a lot of people are very disappointed that they're not here and that they won't actually face justice. We won't hear the sentencing today. That will be done at a later date. But of course, it doesn't matter very much what the sentencing is if they're not in the court's custody.
Molly, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us there from The Hague. Molly Quell there telling us about that news that one Hezbollah member has been found guilty in the assassination of the former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik Hariri. Next now to the United States.